Chapter comes in. Chapter doesn't work with big government or big companies. They're independent. They stay away from those insurance scandals that can lead to issues with your Medicare. They're the only advisors who compare every Medicare plan nationwide to find the one that fits your preferences. So again, call today, do not delay. Compare every single Medicare plan out there. Knock out that to-do list. It takes under 20 minutes to review your options for 2026. On average, Chapter saves each customer up to $1,100. 833-438-3359. It's Chapter. Knock out that Medicare to-do list today. Compare every plan and get ready for 2026. As we're minutes away from President Trump and Secretary Kennedy to make an announcement regarding IVF treatment and studies from Health and Human Services. We will take a quick commercial break for more sponsors. Don't change that dial. You're with Right Side Broadcasting Network, the live desk.
Wait a minute. So did he just forecast what it's going to be about?
Zach, you did this again. You're 0-2 for this, buddy.
Are you kidding me?
I still can't believe that Americans have to pay for health care. I still can't believe it. I've never had to pay for health care in my life. I just can't understand it. Well, I never had to fight a kangaroo in my life, so I guess we're equal.
Well, the thing with the United States is there's a lot of freaking people. That's one of the things, like, for the healthcare argument. You know, it's a lot easier to get free healthcare when you're Canada and, you know, and have a fraction of the amount of people. But I will say, shouldn't you have to pay for better care? I don't know. It's tough, man. There's a lot of different things going into it. I mean, Saga, you could speak on this better than I can because you're in Canada. But, like, one of the things that I've heard is, like, good luck trying to get a routine back surgery in Canada.
I was actually going to say, like, I don't know if I announced it here, but I'm getting a mad echo right now.
Zach, you got to mute. So does Coach.
Okay, hold on. Or how about now?
Yeah, that's a lot better. Thanks, Zach. So yeah, like some of you know, I got into a car accident, about 2 weeks ago now. And I waited 5.5 hours and emerged in a stupid neck brace just to have a doctor come talk to me. So yeah, maybe you get free healthcare, but like, if it's not life-threatening, you are going to wait forever. And once they put you in a neck brace, you are no longer allowed to eat, which I didn't know. So Saga was very sassy at about the 3-4 hour mark and threatened to order a pizza to the hospital if they didn't give me a damn sandwich. True story. True story.
You're suffering now.
I am good for some comedic relief once in a while.
For me, that's just funny as hell.
The other problem with the Canadian healthcare system that I've personally noticed is that, like, it's very hard to get, like, a family doctor, and when you have them, they are older than your grandpa. So, like, are they up to date with the newest medical treatments and stuff? Like, my family doctor told me last week when I went to see him about the accident. I said, well, what am I going to do when you retire? And he looked at me and laughed and said, you're fucked. Because he's just kind of funny like that. But, yeah. I don't know. If I get rich in this bull run, somebody...
when you get rich.
When I get rich in this bull run, I am pre-rich. I'm moving to America or Jamaica, and that's where I'll be.
Sorry, I don't know if you can handle Jamaica, bud.
Just move to Australia, man. Much better weather.
No.
Those spiders and kangaroos.
You got spiders, you got the irukandji jellyfish, you got kangaroos, you got spiders literally the size of my head just walking around like it's a normal day. You got snakes. No. Australia is off the map for me.
Dude, all that stuff leaves you alone.
Yeah, okay.
It's all fairy tales. You maybe can get one spider in your house once a year, and it's a huntsman, and it's harmless. Snakes, majority of them are harmless. Even the bad ones run away from you most of the time, unless you fuck around and find out. Yeah.
Hey,
You'll be
Chris.
okay.
Chris, have you ever seen the bit from Shane Gillis about Australian people? Dude, you have to watch it. It is so hilarious.
Oh no!
I love it, dude. He's like, no matter what, like, if you have like an Australian guy with you, it makes every situation better. And he's talking about like 9/11 and stuff, and it's like, dude, you got to see it, man. You got to just see the bit if you
No,
haven't
that's
seen
just
it.
not funny. Oh no!
I did see this viral video of an Australian fella in Los Angeles, and an African American gangster tried to start on him, and he just knocked him clean the fuck out. And he goes, "I'm from Australia, bloke." Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. You got to watch that Shane Gillis bit, bro. It's funny. So this is a big nothing burger, maybe? Is that what we're seeing?
Dude, this is the second time, Zach. We extended this
All right,
show.
there's been times where I've streamed and it's not been a nothing burger pit.
No, but I'm just saying, this one and the last one, you got an 0-2 right now with this. Back to back.
Dude, FIFA World Cup into, what are we talking about?
Healthcare. Not even healthcare.
Well, we do have 737 people live with us on YouTube and X, so, I mean, we could get into the healthcare conversation. Why not? I mean, we could talk about it.
All right.
No, I'm just... the market's coming up. Maybe they like this. The traders are liking this.
Those aren't traders. They're just degens, bro. They're just straight up. They're not traders. These people are degens. The market's going up because Trump is talking about healthcare. Jesus Christ, dude. We're so screwed. We're so screwed. The market is coming up. Let's go, though. Let's go. Come on, my long baby. Come on. Let's go.
I'm debating if I just want to exit here.
What the hell? See...
Well, now that I know that this might not be about crypto at all or markets or anything, I mean, but maybe he slipped something in. I mean, that's the thing with Trump. You just never know. Like he could say something about Russia, Ukraine, or China, like embedded in all of this, and like it could be beneficial. You just don't know. I'm trying to find out if there's an actual like source that's saying this is what it is, this is what they're going to talk about, etc. If anybody has anything, just jump in. Let's see. Lutasco kind of called this, though.
He said to buy Bitcoin and go to sleep, so I longed it. Right? Am I doing this right?
The announcement was that Trump is going to subsidize IVF with Bitcoin.
We'll take that. We'll take that. Let's see.
Dude, this shit is so volatile right now. These swings on Bitcoin are kind of crazy.
Trump has just announced that no matter how hard you try, males cannot get pregnant with IVF.
All right, this says possible key topics in today's speech: Venezuela drug cartel strikes, CIA and covert actions, Middle East and Hamas, meeting Putin and Russia, U.S. government shutdown, national security, and military. I mean, do you think...
That's so much. That's so much.
Trump says land strikes may be next for Venezuela. Trump says he has authorized covert CIA action in Venezuela. Says he'll meet Putin. Okay, they met... Okay, he's going to meet Putin in Hungary after a productive call that they had today live. So he's going to meet Putin in Hungary.
Just jump on Polymarket.
want-
Just Polymarket it.
What's that?
You said pull up Polymarket.
You want some breaking news?
Give me some breaking news.
So, the breaking news is the Republicans are in trouble politically. So Trump is forced to do these types of announcements. The data is not looking good. So you ever hear when the financial policy, you need to make this work. I remember if you watch some of the documentaries, you know what I'm talking about. But says that we need a lot of money. Otherwise, tomorrow is not going to look good. And it sounded like I'm going to connect it to this to let you know if you hear Republicans are in trouble, market structure bill may be in trouble. A lot of the nonsense on the Democrat side, I don't know why they're doing this, but you don't get to earn a vote by being foolish, right? This technology is real. You just have to acknowledge it instead of just going hate by all means. So I think whatever you're going to see, and I've said this before next year, March, April, just based on history, a lot of things would take over the energy out of crypto. Hopefully it doesn't. And I think we do have a insurance policy here because Trump's kids are all over this technology. So I don't know that if it all collapses, they'll probably be crying more. So just keep an eye out. If anything at all, you want to be paying attention to the politics side as well, because if anything looks bad, they'll pull the rug underneath you. So you just have to pay attention on the other side as well. It doesn't look good at all, and they know it. And they have to start throwing some bones out, whatever that is. And if you guys know this IVF thing, there's 2 or 3 Democratic states, I think New York and there's another one that actually mandates that. So they're like competing to make this like, we are for this, okay? So this is just the beginning of everything, where the energy literally gets sucked out of the crypto ecosystem. Whoever bought Bitcoin at 15K, they're probably fine. If you're buying now, you're probably still fine, because if Tom Lee is right and it's going to 250, you're probably going to make some profit. But what if that doesn't happen? Because this has happened before. In 2021, a lot of people thought it was going to go to 100K. We never saw that. And it took how long? So anything is on the table. That's all I'm trying to say. So just play your cards right. Don't try to go too far on either side, because you just never know, right? What I do know has been beaten down a lot is the altcoins. The chance that they never come back, I'm not on that camp. I'm not going to vote on that. So I'm literally looking at alts right now, and it is kind of brutal. I'm not going to lie to you. Even Cardano's at 65 cents, guys. Like, that shit was over, closer to $1 not that long ago. The fact that it's at 65 cents and falling is insanity, and that's a top 10. Like, these ones in the top 40, top 50, top 60, top 100 overall, it's brutal.
I'll just tell you guys, I bought more Aster today at 125. I think that's a really good spot. I let my private community know this. I'll give you that one for free. I think that one's really oversold at 125. It's up to 128 right now, which is fine. I'm scooping up a little bit more of that long term anyway.
Do you know? I'm looking at what the RSI is for Ethereum. Do you know by chance? Squirt?
I can look at it here. Hold on.
Are you saying you're looking at Pudgy again there, Paid?
Yeah, I have some pudgy goals to make. Get it?
Yeah. I added to it on that dip last Friday, and
No, that dip. Well, you're back at that dip just now, basically. You need to add again. Not financial advice.
Let me see here.
Yeah, Cardano at 64 cents is crazy.
does anyone know, like, so for example, like I was pretty fired up that ZBCN got listed on Kraken, and like I always know that when you get a tier 1 listing, it seems to dump the price like 15 to 20%. But does anyone know like why that is? Is it because like Kraken shorts it when it gets listed? Is that...
No, you just got like people who get in early, way early than the listing. It gets listed, it pumps 20, 30, 40%, whatever, and people take their profits, you know?
Oh, so I could have taken profits is what you're telling me.
Well,
Great.
they're also able to sell it on the centralized exchange, right? So they can move it to the centralized exchange, and now their wallet on the DeFi side is not doxed. So they'll dump it over there because now you don't know who dumped it.
Dude, Zach, Ondo right now, 73 cents. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out why my RSI tab is not on my trading view chart. Hold on. Keep going, but
No, I'm just looking at the market, man. I mean, again, if you have some dry powder, I say this all the time, just DCA. You don't have to put all your money in at one time. It's a few dollars here, a few dollars there, it adds up. Because these dips are gifts.
The energy, a lot of people don't like buying these moments. It's kind of crazy though, guys.
Yo, fucking Jasmine coins are about to break under a penny. That's insanity. That's literally insanity.
okay,
under
here we
a penny?
go. Mutasco, let's see here. RSI is currently right at 40 right now.
Yeah, so if you're buying here, you're in that neutral zone, right? Usually, it's like
Yep. I mean, they say basically anything under 40 is oversold, over 70 is overbought.
yeah.
So I mean, you're basically right in the sweet spot of picking some up here.
Yeah,
ETH wick down on Friday. ETH wick down to 3,500. Basically, we're just below 3,900 right now on ETH. 3,890.
That's a good number.
I just said
Not financial advice.
listen to Benjamin Cohen. This Ethereum run is gonna come. I just don't know exactly the timeline, but I know it's gonna happen. And so if you're buying Ethereum at these prices, you're getting a deal. That's what I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole market's a deal right now. A lot of these are about to hit that Friday liquidation wick levels pretty soon if this doesn't stop.
I'm gonna open up the space on my computer here. Hold on one sec, because people are having audio issues on X. So let me do this real quick. I'm just gonna have to reconnect, I think. Let's see.
Coinbase has also been listing some tokens.
No issues on X. So let me do this real quick. I'm just gonna have to reconnect, I think. Let's see.
Coinbase has also been listing some tokens too. So
on X. So let me.
You know, I was looking at it last night, the last cycle, October, and the RISI was like 71 or something like that when it dropped. So it's just kind of strange. This seems like a pretty good RISI number, but not financial advice, of course.
No, I think right now is a crazy buying opportunity. I want Bitcoin to fucking stop bleeding out right now, though, because that's my long. Thank you.
just make sure you're not sleeping. because anything can.
Possible. Make sure you don't sleep tonight.
It's never a boring day in crypto.
All right, there we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
All right, I just reconnected on computer. Guys, let me know on the YouTube and X stream if you guys can hear me a little bit better. Bitcoin tumbling here, 1081.
Hating it.
I'm going to open along at 106 if it gets down that low.
You know what is funny though, guys? Today we would have had like a lot of data, employment data, right? Inflation, all that stuff. It's all just mute. it's like it means nothing. And I'm like, really? But you can always look at the price of the market to determine whether it's bad or not. But the fact that that's not even published, and so we're probably gonna hang around here until Trump is ready to say, "Let's go," and then he's gonna just come out of nowhere and say, "You know what? I've been reading a lot about the whole shutdown thing, and there's a lot of maneuvers that I think J.D. Vance, the vice president, as they're considering some really complicated maneuvers to get stuff through the Treasury, and they always figuring this out. This is why I've said this, right? Anyone in power, they have so much at their disposal that you don't want to be fading their actions. Somebody would tell you it's bad, but they always have a way to work around these things if you're somebody who looks at it. So it's not always bad. I look at it more like it's an opportunity. So if you think you're still behind and you want to accumulate, some of these altcoins will probably do a massive run if everything is clear. In a week, you could do really well just by positioning yourself in some of these altcoins and stuff, because that's kind of where the run is going to be, because they're so beaten down.
Do you like World Liberty Fi? A lot of people fudding like all of Trump's stuff. If there's one that I think actually has some merit to it, that if we're going to get an altcoin season, the one I would go with would be World Liberty Fi, especially down where it is right now. I mean, this thing is wrecked, down to 13 cents, closer to 14, but I mean, down 56% all time now. I mean, so its launch price was what, like much higher. That's one that I can't decide on if I want to put some money in or not.
Yeah, it's so the thing with World Liberty Fi, I'm not touching that. And guys, not financial advice. You can do whatever you want with your money. It's just not because there's several alternatives better, even much better. The thing they do have going for them, which I heard the CEO of World Liberty Fi, what is his name? Zach Witkoff or whatever. I don't remember if that's the right name, but I heard him speak in the conference that's going on now. That's what I'm paying attention to, because I don't know whether it was timed, but right after that, you guys heard BlackRock CEO going all out with this tokenization thing. I also mentioned I was in a space over the weekend. There was a guy who actually was in Manhattan, New York, and happens to be at a dinner, which was a private dinner. And it was all these big guys, right? State Street, DTCC, BlackRock, all of them. They were literally sitting there talking about tokenization. So the point I'm making there as a connection is that the Trump family, and this wasn't even a rumor. It was a rumor when I heard it, but then I dug into it and I saw that it was actually true that they stated it. that they're gonna pivot into putting all of the real estate um, on blockchain, and they're gonna do it through stable coins and the USD, whatever stable coin they have for World Liberty Fi. And we don't know yet which blockchain. It could be on like it could be Ethereum, obviously because it's like the tokenization lead right now, or it could be Aptos. It's kind of surprising to me, but I'm not surprised because Aptos kind of is trying to pivot towards like institutions like Avalanche and all the rest. But so if you think that's a big deal, um, you know, you might want to own it. But I just don't like when the float is messy because there's a whole lot of tricks around float that is just not my thing. So I like to find things that are over 70% because then, you know, it's a win-win. But even right now, it's like hoping that you catch assets in the depression. This is where we're at, you know, coming out of this. I don't even know, Zach, if we're gonna see any bodies floating after the $19 billion typhoon that we had. We haven't seen anybody come out and say, you know what, I got blown out. You know, which I mean, when FTX happened, it took a little bit, Luna actually, before Three Arrows and Celsius, you know, started showing cracks. So I don't know how long that's gonna take, but um, if I was gonna bet on the Trump family, uh, you know, man, what is good about this is you have other tokenization assets. If you go on RWA.xyz, you can filter out the ones that are actually doing stuff, right? And then pick and choose from there. But don't limit yourself to just World Liberty Fi, is what I would say. Because if they're doing a big run, guaranteed there will be other ones that will pop out. And you may want to catch maybe a low cap and, you know, catch some pump. But that's what I would. I was actually reading about, you know, Trump families. I'll post it here. I don't know if I should post it, but it's. I was looking into. They have I think it's Scotland. They have a golf. Trump's Scottish golf resort. Guys, you guys ready? For almost, I think, 13 months, 13 years, I think. 13 years straight. If you were running a business and you're running that for 13 years at a loss, then you have to ask the question, why? Why are they running at a loss and they're still having a business? Not one, not two, but like over 10 years. And the reason why I'm saying that is it used to be just like NFTs, right? The premium NFTs are like money laundering tunnels, right? Because why do people buy real estate? Why do people buy gold? Why do people buy watches, right? You know, maybe because if I need to sell it, I can liquidate it. But what I'm trying to say there is, and for anybody who wants to get what I'm saying, go look up this guy called Malcolm Gladwell. He did something on, I don't remember the title, but it's A Good Walk Spoiled. It's one of his podcasts. A Good Walk Spoiled. I think it's on the season 2, episode 1. This was way back in 2017. He literally breaks down. He has a podcast called The Revisionist History, and I'm connecting this to the Trump golf course thing because just like Raul Powell likes to talk about like Bored Ape and the crypto punks. People will buy that NFT for not the reason that you think, right? It's like literally locking capital somewhere where you can get some advantages, right? So if you go and you listen to that podcast, the title of the podcast, The Walk, I think it's A Walk Spoiled, or A Good Walk Spoiled. Just go listen to that. You understand why I'm bringing this up. What I think is going on is that they've been losing a lot of money, but then I'm asking myself in crypto, what aspect of crypto could borrow this type of tax loophole? There's literally a 1965 law that was passed in Los Angeles that protects these rich people. I'm not going to speak to this a lot. I'm just going to say, go listen to that and you will understand why I think it's relevant. I think it was 1960 or something like that. California, they did some amendment of their constitution to kind of exempt all the country clubs. And this is just from tax, from paying taxes. That's literally what it is. Let's call it what it is, right? So digging into this Trump situation, I find something fishy there. But it's cool because we learn about what they do, and then you try to ask yourself, how can this be replicated in crypto? Like,
Well, I just
why
think, I mean,
own Bitcoin?
everybody's just calling everything Trump does a scam, and I mean, I think the Trump meme coin was I wouldn't bet on that coming back, and it
Yeah.
might come back. I'm just saying if there's going to be one I'm betting on, like World Liberty Fi actually has some merit to it, I think, and they had some recent news in terms of tokenization as well. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, you make some good points too regarding like float and things like that. I just think if we're going to get into a euphoric state, he's going to benefit somehow. And do I want to have a piece of something that runs? That's all what I was thinking of from the macro of it. But I'm
How
pretty well
much
positioned.
low has it gone since the launch? Do you know? Like if you do
Well,
the
it
kind of zoom
depends.
out the chart.
It depends when it was actually available for the public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's below the level where most people bought. I'll tell you that. But like if you were able to get into like the private rounds or whatever, then yeah, you're still up. Like I think the all-time low that they list on here is like 9 cents on World Liberty 5, but I don't think the public was able to get it that low. Yeah,
And
nine
where is it at
cents.
today?
9 cents. Oh no, 9 cents was 6 days ago. I take that back. Nine cents was 6 days ago during the collapse. The all-time low. Let's see. So that was the all-time low, 9 cents. So it's basically bottomed. I mean, it's the lowest it's ever been. Well, Friday was the lowest it's ever been. It's bounced from 9 cents to 13.5 cents right now. The highest it's ever been was 46 cents, 70% down from all-time highs. Ranked number 33 on CoinMarketCap. So just from those kind of like, you know what I mean, things I'm looking at, I'm like, well, if he's going to do something and manipulate this thing for him to win, wouldn't it be one of those? And if not, that one, because that's the one with real utility. I don't know. It's just, I'm extrapolating, but who knows? Right now I'm on the sidelines, but I'm looking at it.
It's a good one to look at, though. To be honest, if there's going to be some fireworks ahead on tokenization, I'm sure there will be buyers at. It reminds me of Peter Thiel when he said this when he got the first round of the Series A of. He missed the Series A and B of Facebook. Didn't think of it that much, and then he kept pushing it, and then he had to buy at like it was still huge. It was a big trade for him from when he got it. So you could still make a good amount of money if you know how to get out though, because whenever there's a float like that, it's just one of those things. If you don't do it, somebody will.
Yeah,
and
here
it's just gonna.
I'll put this in the nest. This is what I read yesterday. Just in, Eric Trump confirms plans to tokenize real estate with World Liberty Fi. They're aiming for fractional ownership via the blockchain, allowing public investors to access high-profile properties. So, I mean, that could gain some steam. I mean, but I mean, there's a lot of factors. Obviously, tokenomics, what we've seen track record wise with stuff that Trump's been a part of hasn't been great. I just think it's interesting because everybody's just piling on, and it's like, wouldn't it be interesting to see World Liberty Fi like be the leader like late this year when we come out of all this, and everybody's like, ugh, I should have known, should have saw that coming. That's where I'm at in my head.
And I have no doubt that the kids are all in on this. I've listened to them a lot. I mean, Donald Trump Jr., I mean, he started his, I mean, I remember before the election, he was on space and I was in this space and I will never forget this because Donald Trump Jr. said something about between him and his dad during the GFC. And that kind of stuck with me because he was because everything was on sale and it was real estate, right? And he got this deal. And this was coming from Donald Trump Jr. This was even before World Liberty Fi was announced, guys. And he was talking about an opportunity in the real estate where he rushed to his dad and said, "Dad, we need to go all in. We need to buy this." And his dad looked at him and said, "Just chill, okay? And I'll explain to you why." And it turned out his dad was right, because if they had gotten in at the time that he had suggested, it would have gone down even further. And they would have, So, long story short, they're all in on the real estate side. So, if you think there's a bid on tokenization and BlackRock is literally flaming the fire, that's where you want to be headed, right? You don't want to wait until it catches. Because I watch BlackRock. If you go on BlackRock's page, I don't know, the last time I checked, and this was early 2021, mid 2021, 2022, the whole ESG thing was going big, okay? And BlackRock put somebody called Brian Deese in the Biden administration. Literally, the person went from BlackRock to becoming some chief economic something. And he literally pushed. I sat in some of the meetings. The SEC used to do it, and I don't know how I signed up to it, but I would get a notification, I would jump in. And in one of those calls, I got some insider scoop about how these politicians and the lobbyists get laws passed, right? That favors the industry. And BlackRock was all over it, right? They pushed the ESG, blah, blah, blah. And they made it a law, and the SEC kind of expedited the whole thing, even though they had concerns about staffing and all this stuff. And because BlackRock said so, they just pushed it. So if Larry Fink is flaming something about tokenization, you want to be doing a lot of research around this and maybe take some position. So if the family is all over it, I wouldn't fade it.
Yeah, I mean, one other thing too, I just want to comment on this because people are messaging me on the live stream and asking me, a lot of questions, a lot of fear right now in the market. But this is, again, I got to keep saying this. You got to position yourself. I'm seeing people in the comments saying, the cycle's almost over, scale out. And you know what? Person could be right, could be wrong. Who knows? You know what I mean? But who am I? But that's why I'm in 1/3 stables, 1/3 Bitcoin and Ethereum, 1/3 in altcoins. If the market crashes tomorrow, I'm okay. I'm fine. I've got Bitcoin and Ethereum and 1/3 stables ready to freaking go. You know what I mean? And the show goes on. That's the thing, like, we've got to keep saying. Nobody has a crystal ball. Everybody's going to have differing opinions. For the same people, the same bears out there. And these are smart people on both sides. That's the other thing. It just goes to show you that nobody knows what the hell's going to happen. You got smart people over here saying scale out, scale out, scale out. Then you got Tom Lee and Arthur Hayes saying $250,000 Bitcoin and $10,000 to $12,000 ETH. So that just shows you right there that nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. And if anybody thinks they do, don't listen to them. And don't be one of them, because you don't. You just don't. But I mean, you just got to position yourself where you win in every scenario. That's just it. I mean, it just proves my point. Like, think about what's going on right now. The temperature. It depends. I mean, you could look on the timeline, and it could be one person who's been around for a while saying, "Get out now before everything goes to hell in a handbasket." And then if you listen to Arthur Hayes and you listen to Tom Lee, and they're saying $250,000 by the end of the year. It's October 16th, $250K by the end of the year. So nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. Nobody has a crystal ball. Everybody has a theory, but that's all it is. Like, that's all it is. It's just that. So again, I'm not smart enough. Nobody's smart enough to know exactly how this is going to play out. But do I think we have one more leg up? I personally do. Just because of all of the macro factors that are still working in our favor. I rattled off some of these things earlier. Despite all the things going on with trade war, despite all the things going on with, still a kind of a lack of uncertainty for the markets, we still have quite a bit of positive things happening. We've got future rate cuts coming. We're ending QT, quantitative tightening. You've got gold going crazy, which should be good for risk on assets at some point here. You've got peace in the Middle East. You've got potentially a China deal coming, and I think we're going to have more certainty no matter what when it comes to tariffs as time goes on here. And then potentially a Russia deal may be coming, and everybody's dumping Bitcoin. So it doesn't really add up. I think we have one more leg. Is Bitcoin going to go to 250,000? And again, I'm just spitballing here. I don't freaking know, because I started this conversation with that, right? I don't know. I'm just giving you guys my thesis, or kind of how I'm thinking about this right now. I'm not banking on Bitcoin going to, $250,000. But I'm also sitting there with Bitcoin at an average cost of like 42, 43,000 right now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's coming down there either. So I'm not going to go sell my Bitcoin. And ETH, my average cost is like 2K. So, I'll just sit in those positions. I'll sit in my stablecoin positions. If my 1/3 altcoin bags go to hell and never come back, it'll suck. Do I think all of them will go to hell and never come back? No. But if I have to sit there and wait for some of those things to make a move or whatever, that's fine. I'll have the ability to maneuver, though, because I have stable coins sitting there and because I have Bitcoin and Ethereum sitting there. And hopefully both Bitcoin and Ethereum are still in profit in a bear market, or close, or real close to it. And I still have cash to deploy. And then once we get the, indication that we're moving back in the other direction, you start to deploy some of that capital. And, DCA and the altcoins in which you're down on. It's just, that's all you have to do, really. It's all you can do. But I think the issue is people are just over leveraged right now, and they're in this, one or two altcoins down 80%, and those are the people that are panicking and running around like chickens with their head cut off. That's just where we are.
Hi, Zach. Can I just ask, did Trump already speak? Did I miss that?
No, we're waiting.
You waiting? Oh, okay. Sorry. Thanks.
No, we're good. We don't know exactly what it's going to be about. It's going to be about some type of stuff with healthcare, but I don't know if if that's just a piece of it. I asked ChatGPT. ChatGPT said Venezuela, drug cartel, Middle East and Hamas, maybe his meeting with Putin, maybe United States government shut down domestic policy, maybe national security and military. So who knows? We'll see. I'm curious to see if it's anything that'll help the markets at large. Stock market, by the way, is down today too. And every time it looks like we wanted to go up today, we get rejected. So the stock market's feeling it as well. The markets don't like uncertainty, guys. That's just what it is. And there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
There is a conspiracy going around, and I call it conspiracy because I don't know. You can grok it or do whatever you need to do to figure out what the numbers are, but essentially what Trump is the elephant in the room. So if Trump hadn't done what he did, I don't think we'll be here today. Let's just put that out there. But the actions of Trump could be aligning with. I posted a chat the other time in the space that shows the U.S. Liabilities versus revenue. How much is the government bringing in? How much are they spending? And the trick there is to, and this reason why we're under the water is because we're spending more than we're bringing in. And most of the revenue comes from taxes, right? So, and capital gains, you can do the numbers and figure out what the average amount is that contributes to tax revenue, and the S&P 500 and all the brokers and the investors and all that stuff. As it's getting into, the close of the year, because you close the books December 31st, and then the new book opens up in January. So whenever there's like, I call them traps, because they have to trap people into letting go. And then you're caught between, do I report the taxes or go to prison? And I think you can postpone it, but just know that some of these plays will probably not end till the end of the year. That's why I said, once we enter closer to the blackout, 2025 is over, because it will be sideways through the end of the year, and then maybe we see the parabolic run towards Q1, if that's the case. Because, and this is the thing I don't understand about politicians, they do this all the time. They tend to
they're gonna pump the
impress
market.
people before elections.
They're gonna
Go
pump
ahead.
the market when you least expect it.
Yep.
Right? Don't they always play this game? Like
Yep.
when they get all of retail thinking like the world's ending, that's about the time they usually, send it. And what they did Friday, they basically pulled the tablecloth. All the glasses and plates and the chicken went flying. You know what I mean? They basically just grabbed the tablecloth and ripped it away, and they're resetting the table. That's what's happening.
All the bank closures usually happen on Friday when everybody decides, yeah, we have a vacation coming. Yeah, I'm gonna log off. It's a psychological game, right? It's like people love their vacations. They love their little time with their families or whatever. You can be the smartest ass in the room, but if you're focused on your kids, maybe you have a bot, right? You have a sophisticated machine that does the trade. But the point is that they know how to play the game, and that's why it's not easy for.
That was me on Friday, Matasco. I was sitting at a winery hanging out with my mom, my dad, my girlfriend. We were all hanging out, drinking wine. I'm not even kidding. We're sitting there, and I get a text from Paid, the market's tanking. The market's tanking. We need to do an emergency space. And I'm like, you know what? I would, but this is my time right now. I'm not going to be a complete idiot here and walk away from this wine. But what I will do is pull out my phone. What I will do is pull out my phone and buy the dip. So I bought some more Bitcoin. I bought some more Ethereum. I was able to scoop up some XRP. Bought some H bar. Yeah, so I mean, I made some plays and then I shut it down and went away. Just went away for a while. I'm okay. It's like, but again, like, and I don't want this to sound like I've got it all figured out. I've just learned from getting wrecked, like the first go around, and not having a plan at all. But even while all that was happening on Friday, after I bought those dips, I just put my phone away and I was like, okay. I was like, it is what it is. Like, it's fine. Because I'm not going anywhere regardless. Like, the market's not going to zero, so it is what it is. And it reversed. But back in 2020, 2021, I would have had to excuse myself from that situation and go sit in a corner. You know what I mean? And contemplate my life.
You become desensitized for sure, Zach. I know. Once you've panic sold, like the last time around, you're like, you know what? Just like you did the right thing. You're like, it's not going to get me down. I'm here. Like, things will change tomorrow. It's like there's always something else.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, 100%.
Or you can just cry like I did last Friday. That helps too.
But you've
Sometimes you got to let it out.
You've just entered the market, right, Saga? I mean, like I feel like everybody's got to go through the phases, man. It's like what are the phases of grief or whatever? It's like the same thing, man. You got to go through the crypto phases. You know, it's the same kind of shit.
There are two groups of people. Both sides are numbed to something. We're just, if you've been grinding here, you're numb to just the volatility. You don't see it, it doesn't freak you out. And then on the other side, there are people who are numb to their lost 401ks and their, 9 to 5s, and, they have no clue what is going on in this side of our world. And it's, you look at it and you're wondering why, but, when you grind through the system so long, you just give up. I don't know if that's the numbing, but like that's literally where some people are, which is fine. That's a choice. But I get to make a choice now where I think this is an open technology, permissionless, permissioned. I don't care. If you love freedom, I think you should love it on both sides, right? If people are doing risky stuff, it's none of your business. If they're being very responsible, none of your business too. If you're not against freedom, you should be for people having the will to do. Because I think for me personally, I have learned a lot more in the mistakes I've made than the ones that I don't know yet. Because you just never know. You want to try things, you want to trust people, whatever that is. And you're going to somehow end up either being right or wrong. Trust me, a lot of you here would wish that you had listened to somebody that introduced you to Bitcoin some time ago. And it's still not over yet, but people have a million reasons why they don't want to buy it. It's a new type of problem. So
let me get over to Crypto Wolf. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, I was just listening in after a long time. I just wanted to say about what you guys were speaking about, that getting wrecked in the cycle is getting normal. This is the 8th time I lost my
hold on
account.
1 sec. I think Trump's live here.
It's a punch in the face, right? I've done it 8 times last year, losing my account 8 times.
Trump's going live here. Sorry, I want to cut in here. I want to see what happens here.
President Trump and staff there to see what he's up to in the West Wing.
Phone call with President Putin was a very good call. Good.
Can you hear him?
Are you ready? You all set?
I can barely hear him. Okay, he's coming to the microphone now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This is very exciting, what we're doing. I want to thank everybody for being here, and I want to thank this group of people. They're incredible people. We just had a call, as you know, with President Putin. I thought it was a very good call, so we'll talk about it maybe later. But it went very well. We're here today to announce a historic victory for American women, mothers, and families. With the actions I will outline this afternoon, will dramatically slash the cost of IVF and the treatment and many of the most common fertility drugs for countless millions of Americans. Prices are going way down, way down. I want to thank Libby Horn, who is the Senior Vice President of Fertility of EMD Serrano. So I want to thank you. Let's see here. That's what I thought. I thought it was you. Thank you, Libby, very much. And let me also thank the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose wife destroyed the people on The View yesterday. I have to say that. I'm not going to ever get into an argument with her. And you've decided, you learned that a long time ago. She did a great job, actually. Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick. Thank you, Howard. Secretary of Labor
I can't hear
Lori
Zach.
Chavez
Zach,
Durimer.
if he's speaking, we can't hear him at all.
Thanks. CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, who's
He is
a
speaking.
fantastic
You guys
guy,
can't hear
and
him?
he's done really well.
No,
FDA
nothing.
Commissioner Marty
For the last
McCary.
30 seconds.
Thank you, Marty.
Interesting. All right,
Senator
just
Katie
go
Britt,
watch
who
my
got me
live
started
on X,
with this
guys. We'll
whole
close
thing
down
when she
this
called
space.
up to say
Watch my live.
there was a bad ruling by a judge, right? We got to do something, sir, and we did it very quickly. Probably in 24 hours it was done. Congressman Richard Hudson, a great guy, and his wife Renee. Richard, hi Richard. And advocate Samantha Bush, who's a very respected person. For years, American couples struggling with infertility have faced crushing costs in their quest to start a family, and IVF is among the most expensive treatments of all. A single round of IVF in the United States can cost up to $25,000, can actually go a lot higher than that. And many couples require multiple rounds for a successful pregnancy. A major reason for these high prices is the excessive cost of the drugs involved. The number one fertility drug used in IVF is currently 700% more expensive in the United States than the rest of the world. And you know, we're ending all of that. It's called favored nations, and we're ending it, and we're ending it pretty fast. Nobody thought we'd be able to do it, and we've done it. Drugs are going to come down. Drug prices are coming down 400%, 200%, 600%, numbers that nobody's ever seen before. Great for Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. Great for everything, I think, Dr. Oz. So it's something that's, to me, it's very exciting. I'm bugging him and Bobby all the time. How are we doing with that? And we're doing really good, Bobby. It's really going good. Other countries are agreeing to it, because if they don't, we put tariffs on them, and then they agree. So it's amazing. It's amazing how that worked out. But as an example, in London, you'd buy a certain drug for $130, and even less than that, I guess $88 as of a count a month ago. And in New York, you pay $1,300 for the same thing. So now we're going to be paying, instead of $1,300, you'll be paying about $150, and they'll be paying $150 too. We're going to pay the same thing. Favored nations. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And we've been ripped off by the whole world for a long period of time. One of the most popular fertility drug regimens costs over $5,000 per cycle, as an example. Wow. Largely as a result of these unsustainable prices, 70% of the employers do not offer insurance that covers IVF. Therefore, most couples with fertility challenges are paying these costs entirely out of their own pockets, which is not really possible to do. Oh, look who we have. Look at that, the great Maria Bartiromo. I didn't know, did you get put into the regular pool pack? That's very good. Yeah, that's good. Nice to see you. I'm doing an interview with her in a little while. In the Trump administration, we want to make it easier for all couples to have babies, raise children, and start the families they've always dreamed about. That's why today I'm pleased to announce that after extensive negotiations, EMD Serrano, the largest fertility drug manufacturer in the world, has agreed to provide massive discounts to all fertility drugs they sell in the United States, including the most popular drug of all, the IVF drug, Gonal-F. So it's Gonal-F. Is that a proper pronunciation? Close enough, right? Gonal-F. As part of this agreement, EMD Serrano will list their fertility drugs online at trumprx.gov at very, very heavily reduced prices that you won't even believe. And ultimately, that's because of the favored nations. In addition, the FDA will be working with the company to expedite review and approval of another common fertility IVF drug, and currently it's selling in Europe. It's Pergoveris. And that's a sounding nice name. Pergoveris. Why can't you name them nice, simple names? Nice, easy names. Doesn't matter. If it works, that's all we care about, right? Upon approval, this drug would directly compete against a much more expensive option that currently has a monopoly in the American market, and this will bring down costs very significantly, and the other one's going to have to come down also. Finally, EMD Serrano has agreed that all future drugs and everything that it develops and sells in the United States will be offset at most favored nation prices. I've been after this for a long time. And we started the process in the last administration, and then we had a little thing called COVID that came up. We had to focus on that, did a good job on that too. And they'll bring a significant portion of their drug manufacturing back to the United States. So they're going to bring it largely back into the United States, and that's for a lot of reasons, but primarily because of the election result, November 5th, and maybe most importantly because of the tariffs, because if they do it here, there are no tariffs. So we're going to be very close. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be very close to $20 trillion in investment. As an example, the Biden administration had less than $1 trillion, substantially less than $1 trillion for 4 years, Maria. Can you imagine? 4 years, less than one. We're going to break $20 trillion of investment, and we're already over 17 trillion. And that's in 8 months. Can you believe that? And he was at less than 1 trillion. And in addition to that, he had open borders, allowing millions of people to pour in. What an administration that was. Worst president in history, by far. As a result of these actions, the per cycle cost of drugs used in IVF will fall by an estimated 73% for American consumers. And the numbers are going to actually be very substantially higher as time goes by when it really kicks in. For most of, I mean, think of those numbers. You know, I told the story last time because we were with Pfizer, and Pfizer's doing something very similar. But I told them that my first term, I was so proud of myself because I was the first president in 28 years where drug prices went down for the year. And you know what? They went down 1/8 of 1%. But I was so 1/8 of 1%. Now I'm getting them down, Maria, 500, 600, 800%. In some cases, even more than that. It's hard to believe. But I was proud. I said, oh, wow, I'm the first one. 1/8 of 1%. And I was proud of that. Now I realize, and I called a news conference. Some of you were at that news conference, actually. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations. We've gone down by 1/8 of 1%. And now we're going down 500, 600, 700, 800%, Richard. So it's really something. For most administrations and all of the people involved in this kind of thing, this action would be a crowning achievement of their agenda for fertility health. But for us, it's really just the beginning. It's just a start. It's one of many things we're doing. Today, we're also taking historic steps to vastly expand access to insurance coverage for fertility care, including IVF, something that, as you know, was not covered. Effective immediately, for the first time ever, we will make it legal for companies to offer supplemental insurance plans specifically for fertility. That's never been done before. We're signing it in today with what we signed. Americans will be able to opt in to specialized coverage just as they get vision and dental insurance. They're going to get fertility insurance for the first time. So I don't know, I don't know how well these things are covered. I see the Democrats like to take credit for all of the things we do. We do the things and they take the credit. But I figure if you do enough of these, eventually people are going to figure it out. The Democrats have done nothing. This will make all fertility care, including IVF, far more affordable and accessible. And by providing coverage at every step of the way, it will reduce the number of people who ultimately need to resort to IVF because couples will be able to identify and address problems early. The result will be healthier pregnancies, healthier babies, and many more beautiful American children. It's a big factor. It's a big deal. I'm asking all employers to make these new fertility benefit options available to their employees immediately. The initiatives I've just announced are the boldest and most significant actions ever taken by any president to bring the miracle of life into more American homes. And I will say Katie was great. As you know, she's a great senator from Alabama. She's the first one that told me about this. I had not known too much about it, and we worked very rapidly together, didn't we, though?
Mr. President, you
We had everything passed, and Alabama then took care of it and passed it. Within a week, everything was done. Really, it was something. So I want to thank Katie, Brett. There's no deeper happiness and joy of raising children, and now millions of Americans struggling with infertility will have a new chance to share the greatest experience of them all. So I'd like to thank all of the people that are here, and I think we'll start with Dr. Oz and Ms. Horn. We'll go through the list and we'll listen. And yesterday I did this, and I stood for about an hour and a half as people spoke. And I said, this time I'm sitting right there, and I'm going to watch you. I stood for an hour and a half like this. I said, you got to be kidding. Here we go. It was one after another, and it was wonderful listening to them. But I said, if I have to do this every day, Bobby, should I stand or sit? Thank you, Bobby. Please, Dr. Oz.
Okay. Mr. President, I'm going to jump in here real quick. I want to start by thanking President Trump. Sir, from the very first phone call we ever had, your support was strong. It was steadfast. It was unwavering. And because of you, millions of Americans are going to have a greater opportunity to bring the greatest gift, in my opinion, life into this world. Your support, your administration's support, it's a game changer. All of us here today are aligned. This is a celebration of life. It's a celebration of parents. It's a celebration of families. And it's a celebration for those people who want to one day be parents themselves. I think every parent can attest, and I certainly do myself, that the greatest gift that God has ever given me is the ability to be a mom. We want more people to have that opportunity. We want to make that easier and more affordable. IVF is what makes the difference for so many families that are facing infertility. So you've seen the numbers. It's either 1 in 8 couples, or some people say as much as 1 in 6, are actually experiencing issues with fertility. It's 9% of males and at least 11% of females that are facing these challenges as they work to build their family. The recommendations today that President Trump has set forth are going to expand IVF coverage to nearly 1 million more families, and they're going to drive down cost significantly. Mr. President, this is the most pro-IVF thing that any president in the history of the United States of America has done. And Mr. President, it's your leadership. You are the reason why the Republican Party is now the party of parents. We are the party of families. This is why when Senator Cruz and I worked last year, we got every single Republican senator to sign on and say that they supported nationwide access to IVF. And just for the record, IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump taking this action today to lower cost, to bring these issues to the forefront, and to enact solutions for people working to start their families. I want you to know it's significant, and there's more to come. But this isn't the only thing that you've done to prove that we're the party of parents and we're the party of families. If you look at the working family tax cut, guys, he made sure that hard-working parents were front and center in that legislation. You know, whether it was child tax credits being expanded and made permanent, whether it was Trump accounts that are going to change the game for so many parents, or whether it was childcare. So for decades, we have heard Democrats talk about childcare. President Trump actually took action on the affordability and accessibility of childcare. We know that 1 in 4 families say that they hesitate to have more children because of the cost and because of childcare cost. For the first time, This man actually took steps to change the dynamics for hardworking parents. So of the 3 tax credits that he reformed and the working families tax cuts, 2 of them had not been touched in 2 decades, and 1 of them had not been touched since 1986. So President Reagan was in office the last time anybody did anything about it. But you changed the game on that, and I was proud to lead that effort in the Senate. And so on behalf of moms and dads, on behalf of grandparents and sisters and aunts and uncles and brothers and people who are looking to expand their family, we say thank you. Thank you for all you do to support families in this country and make a healthier environment and an easier one for us to grow the very most important thing. God bless.
So let's set the stage. Put it in perspective, 2 weeks ago, as President Trump alluded, a leading U.S. drug manufacturer came into this room and agreed to do something none of us thought was possible. A most favored nation agreement with numbers, again, inconceivable. Last week, a company from Europe, a global leader in the pharmaceutical sector, came to this office, made the same kind of commitment for most favored nation pricing, again, because the president insisted on it and was persistent, and he alluded to the fact that he was calling Secretary Kennedy and me quite a bit. He definitely was, with great insights into the process and would not hold back. But I think what you're seeing today is something even larger. It's larger because we're now showing that MFN is a tool that can get other initiatives going as well. We are revealing perhaps the most important MFN opportunity at all, because it's about procreation. It's about babies. It turns out that MFN is a tool for a lot of things, and it goes without saying that you get the drug pricing down, but lots of other business necessities become possible when that occurs. So Secretary Kennedy and I, who's a wonderful leader, talk frequently about family. I think the reason he's a great leader, and president as well, is because they have large families and they take pride in the joy that it gives us. But many families, as Senator Britt alluded, do not have the ability to have children. But it turns out that it's about 1 in 3 families, a much higher number, that don't have the number of babies they desire. They're under-babied. So this president committed to address that during the campaign, and he's delivering on that today in a way I don't think anyone thought was possible. We are opening the door with MFN pricing and tariffs that support it, Secretary Lutnick, with a new approach to make reproductive medicine more affordable for Americans. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and you're probably right. There are going to be a lot of Trump babies. I think that's probably a good thing. But it turns out the fundamental creative force in society is about making babies. It's about creating. And this country, the one that President Trump is leading so beautifully, has been a country of abundance, not scarcity. To have abundance, you have to address the fact that we had 3.6 million babies last year, which is beautiful. 3.6 million miracles. That's 500,000 less babies than we would ideally have had, even to replace our current population. Building on the success of the last 2 weeks, our team, led by the head of Medicare, Chris Klump, who's standing over there, and Ina Hernandez, have negotiated a spectacular MFN deal to reduce the cost of IVF drug prices by $2,200 a cycle. That's nearly half of the price that it had been. The most prescribed drug in this category in America, made by MD Serrano, is described over here. And you'll notice, President Trump, these are discounted from $242 to $10. I don't know what the math is on that. We can't even calculate it. It's a lot. It's too high to calculate without a more studied approach. But I give it up there because that number of $10 will apply for every American who earns less than $115,000 a year. That's 70% of the American people. The remaining folks who are able to make more will have to pay a tiny bit more, but it's still most favored nation pricing, no different from what the Europeans are willing to pay. Now, to make this deal happen, Chris and Inma had to do something special. They had to actually not just get the drug price down, but get the middlemen to let it go as well. And Mr. President, we've met with the middlemen in the past. They're now joining the MFN movement. I want to thank Express Scripts Freedom Pharmacy and then CVS's Specialty Pharmacy, because they were willing to stand up and do the right thing for the American people by answering the president's call and slashing their prices. Now, this announcement also encompasses a remarkable move from Marty Makary. And Marty Makary is, of course, the leader of the FDA, but he has ongoing efforts to accelerate their approval of innovative medicines that will further reduce the price and make this whole process more seamless for the American people. Now, you're about to hear about a spectacular new program that's been alluded to. But one of the architects of that program, Heidi Overton, Deputy Director of the White House Domestic Policy Council, is going to take us through the exciting details of what this is going to offer for the American people, especially those who are in the workforce. But first, we think you should hear from Libby Horn. Libby is EMD Serrano's head of fertility. She brings both professional expertise and a personal connection to this work. She has 3 beautiful daughters, and she has personally benefited from reproductive medicine that has shaped her family. And her company made today's spectacular MFM pricing possible. Libby.
Thank you, Dr. Oz. Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we gather on this national stage to celebrate a historic step forward in expanding access to fertility treatments for those who need it most. Mr. President, thanks to your leadership and the tireless efforts of your team, this is a momentous day for Americans who struggle but remain hopeful to build their families. Infertility is on the rise in our country. 1 in 8 couples face infertility. This isn't just a number, it's real lives, dreams, and aspirations of hardworking Americans. The teacher who goes to school each day, surrounded by children, but aching for children of her own. The firefighter who puts his life on the line, but can't create the life he wants at home. The consequences of these challenges can take significant tolls. Some of you watching today have given up or are frustrated because access to IVF treatments has been out of reach. That's why expanding access to IVF has been an issue of great importance to the president. He made this clear in his executive order declaring the administration's goal of supporting American families by enabling access and eliminating barriers to IVF. Today, EMD Serrano is proud to help President Trump deliver on his promise to you. Thanks to the president's leadership, EMD Serrano has worked alongside distributors and other partners to help more families have access to services and innovations that are consistent with other countries. Through our partnership with the administration, we are proud to announce that Americans will have access to our leading IVF therapies for an 84% discount off list prices. That's amazing. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you for making this possible.
That's great. Fantastic.
For more than 40 years, EMD Serrano has been a global leader in fertility. Our science was instrumental in the birth of the first IVF baby in the U.S., and we've helped to bring more than 6 million babies into the world since then. Our purpose is to help create, improve, and prolong life. That means discovering more medicines and bringing them to patients faster. FDA Commissioner Makary has made it a priority to ensure that Americans have access to the world's most innovative treatments as quickly as possible. To that end, EMD Serrano is filing a new IVF therapy called Pergoveris for review under the FDA Commissioner's National Priority Voucher Program. If approved, Pergoveris would combine 2 key reproductive hormones in synergy designed to mimic reproductive physiology. This therapeutic option could mean fewer injections, fewer copays, and lower self-pay cost, all of which make a real difference in the IVF patient experience. In closing, on behalf of EMD Serrano, I want to send my heartfelt thanks to President Trump and the entire administration for their leadership and vision in this critical area of healthcare. Together, we will make a difference in the lives of countless families across this nation and uphold our long-standing legacy of creating life. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for your bold leadership that's allowed our teams to go far beyond what anyone thought was possible. On behalf of the Domestic Policy Council and Vince Haley here, we would like to also thank all the agency partners and the stakeholders that we worked with to get to the solution today that will make a real impact for families. Specifically, today's historic actions, 4 in total that you see, are made possible by coordination of all of the White House team and 7 agencies, many of who are represented here, and their teams that have worked tirelessly. As you described, Mr. President, the current system isn't working. 7 in 10 Americans don't have coverage to IVF. They face high costs and uncertain outcomes. And there's intense demand for fertility benefits. 65% of Americans say that they would leave their current job just because of fertility benefits. So you asked us to lower costs and to fix the broken incentives in healthcare. In addition to lowering the cost of drugs by 73% or $2,200 per cycle, which if you missed it, most people require 2 or 3 cycles. So that's significant savings for families. I'm also going to briefly outline the new solution for coverage. This is a new fertility benefit option that employers can immediately offer to their employees starting today. This afternoon, the Departments of Labor, Health and Human Services, and Treasury will be releasing guidance that, for the first time, creates a legal pathway for employers to offer fertility benefit packages to people that need them, similar to how dental, vision, and life insurance are currently offered. This will be followed up by a regulation. These benefits can address the continuum of fertility needs, from the root causes of IVF, which Secretary Kennedy is working on very hard at HHS, to it'll be a coordinated package that does not exist in traditional health insurance today. It'll make it easier for employers, including small and mid-sized employers, to compete for talented employees. Currently, many small businesses cannot afford to offer fertility benefits at all. This is making it possible for them to offer benefits the same way that large companies like Amazon and others offer benefits. This is a pro-family benefit expansion that will transform clinical outcomes by addressing fragmented coverage and care. I'm a physician by training, and it's very important that we have high-quality care. Fertility benefit companies are poised to offer packages that have reported so far roughly 25% higher live birth rates for those that seek care compared to those that don't have such benefits. They also report fewer cycles to achieve pregnancy, improved natural pregnancy rates through better care before you need IVF, and reduced chance of miscarriages, a 21% reduction in miscarriage rate. Leading physicians in the field have also relayed that these types of benefits significantly improve the patient and doctor experience, allowing both to focus on care rather than navigating the bureaucracy. These impacts are very personal. Here with us today are my good friends, Congressman Richard Hudson of North Carolina and his wife, Renee Hudson. Both have worked in public service for years, including Renee for all 4 years of your past administration, Mr. President, and they struggled with infertility. Today, they have a beautiful son who's their pride and joy. He's an amazing boy. But they also suffered multiple losses throughout their fertility journey, something that is very common. Unfortunately, too many people go through the hard, arduous process of IVF and still result in a miscarriage. So today, your option is not only saving money, it's going to improve the quality of care significantly. This new benefit option simultaneously represents the greatest opportunity to expand coverage of IVF that the federal government has ever taken, while also improving the care delivered. Additionally, and very importantly, it gives employee benefit option means lower costs and more healthy babies. So today, this announcement, we are realigning the industry towards the simple metric of more healthy babies at lower costs. I would now like to introduce Samantha Bush, the wife of NASCAR driver Kyle Busch, who's been a leading advocate for IVF access and affordability after your own infertility journey. Thank you, Mr. President.
Hello, everyone. My husband, Kyle, and I battled infertility for over a decade before being blessed with our 2 beautiful children, Brexton, who's 10, and our daughter, Lennox, who's now 3. But our journey was long and painful. We faced 6 rounds of IVF, multiple miscarriages, multiple failed cycles, and countless moments of heartbreak. We faced the roller coaster of hope and devastation that so many families know all too well. Through it all, we held on to faith, each other, and the belief that somehow, someday, God would turn our pain into purpose. We also who want to see the world anew through the joy in their kids' eyes. Your acknowledgement honors the power of family, faith, and love, the very values that make America the greatest country in the world. It's proof that when promises are made and promises are kept, lives are changed forever. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anybody else? Howard, would you like to say a couple? I was hoping you would say that. Bobby, come on up for a second. What a job you're doing. Yeah, say a few words, Bobby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your vision, your commitment to our country. When my uncle was president, the fertility rate in this country was 3.5%. Today, it is 1.6%. The replacement rate, in other words, the amount of fertility that you need in order to keep your population even, is 2.1%. We are below replacement right now. That is a national security threat to our country. And we know why this is happening. And President Trump is addressing the root causes through his MAHA agenda of reducing endocrine disruptors, the exposure to chemicals that decrease fertility. Today, the average teenager in this country has 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone as a 65-year-old man. Our girls are hitting puberty 6 years earlier. And that's bad, but also our parents aren't having children. Parents who want to have children do not have access. I have 7 children. I feel that God has blessed me with that. And I can't imagine how different my life would be if I did not have that blessing. I want to point out also that this morning, Harvard University released a study that showed that the obesity rates have now climbed over 70%. And this, again, is for the same reason. We're flooding our kids. We're poisoning mass poisoning a generation of kids with chemicals. President Trump has instructed us to stop these problems at the root cause. He's also recognized that there are people who are injured, people who are not living their life to the fullest, and he's addressing that. Last week, we made GLP drugs available at Most Favored Nation. And this week, it's IVF. I want to thank you so much for that, Mr. President. I saw on an airplane the other day, you said that you didn't believe that you were going to get to heaven. You're doing God's work here. You've made peace in the Middle East, which is beyond anybody's imagination. And now you're giving millions of Americans a chance to have babies. And you're doing this while the government is locked down by the Democrats. But this administration has not stopped working for the American people. And that's because of your energy, your commitment, your vision. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of it.
And he's doing a great job. And by the way, Kyle is fantastic. So he's got a lot of courage. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't care. Howard, you and I would not be good at that. We'd go about 30 miles an hour, but we'd be safe. Anyway, so thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Mr. President, you posted earlier today.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, this is a major campaign promise that you made. It was a big hot topic towards the end of the election. You're delivering on that again. I actually had a question for Secretary Kennedy or Dr. Heidi. Dr. Heidi, you said something that I thought was really important. You talked about how this coverage option, this benefit option, gives companies the maximum flexibility to design benefits consistent to their values. I was wondering if either you or the president could expand on that and talk about why that's an important thing to understand about this program.
Thank you. It's a great question. We think that employers are best situated to know what them and their employees want to contribute to in relation to their benefits. So employers are going to be able to decide how to cover the root causes of infertility, things like obesity, metabolic health, and other things that are impacting infertility. And also, if they want to encourage their employees to see certain types of doctors, and they can work with providers that are identifying the highest quality fertility providers. And so it puts them in the driver's seat. And our view is that we want employers to be the ones that can make those decisions, not the government. Thank you.
All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah, it was.
That's a very good answer. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Mr. President, previously you did not seem to be bothered regarding Hamas cracking down on what you called gangs. Actually, a couple of gangs. And today you issued a threat against Hamas on Truth Social. What has changed?
And what was said? Go ahead.
You said if they continue keep killing innocents in Gaza, that if that continues, the United States will go after them.
I issued a strong statement. That's right.
But they used to be gangs, and now you're saying innocents. What made you think they're innocents now?
Well, I'm looking at what's happening, and that wasn't the deal that was made, and we'll see what happens. It's calmed down. It's a tough neighborhood. We know that. We have a commitment from them, and I assume they're going to honor that commitment. I hope they do. And I understand they brought back some additional bodies today. It's a rough deal when you think of it, right? Very rough. And we have our hostages back completely. We were very lucky with that. But it's a tough situation. They brought back bodies today, as you probably know. But they also said they're going to behave. We're going to find out if they behave. If they behave, good. If they don't behave, we'll take care of it. Yeah, please.
Following up on that,
I didn't say you. You CNN fake news. Go ahead.
You said in your post that if they kept killing people in Gaza, we would have no choice but to go in and kill them. So do you mean U.S. forces would go in and take out Hamas?
No, I didn't say who would go in, but somebody will go in. It's not going to be us. We won't have to. There are people very close, very nearby that will go in. They'll do the trick very easily, but under our auspices.
Could I follow up? You also posted about your call with President Putin today, and you spoke about the meeting in Hungary with him. Do you have a timeline or a date set for when?
I would say within 2 weeks or so. Pretty quick. Marco Rubio is going to be meeting with his counterpart, as you know, Lavrov, and they'll be meeting pretty soon. They're going to set up a time and a place very shortly. Maybe it's already set up. They've already spoken. And I thought it was a very good phone call. I thought very productive. But I'll be meeting with President Putin, and we'll make a determination. Tomorrow I'm meeting with President Zelensky, and I'll be telling him about the call. I mean, we have a problem. They don't get along too well, those two. And it's sometimes tough to have meetings, so we may do something where we're separate but equal. We'll meet and talk parties, but this is a terrible relationship the two of them have, and it's one of those things. I've seen things that nobody would believe, but this is one of them. So we're going to be meeting in Hungary. Viktor Orban is going to be hosting, and it's really something that's time. Last week, over 7,000 people were killed. That's ridiculous. And, it doesn't affect our country. We're not losing people. We're not losing Bobby. We're not losing Americans. But they're losing Russians, Ukrainians, mostly soldiers, for the most part, soldiers. And we hope we're going to get it stopped. I thought this would be, because of my relationship with President Putin, I thought this would be very quick. And it's turned out to be, who would think I did Middle East before I did this? We did a total of 8 now, 7 and now 8. And we're going to make this number 9.
So you said you posted that there was great progress. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Was it a shift in Putin's tone? Was it something new he told you? Did he give you any message to give?
You're talking about the whole
President Zelensky tomorrow.
It just seems to me that, look, it's only a field. That's all I've done in my whole life. I've made deals. I know about deals. I do it well. I don't think any president's ever ended a war, frankly. One war, I did 8 of them, Maria, right? And but I don't know, did Bush ever end? Do you think Biden ended a war? Biden started wars because he was stupid. But do you think Biden ended any wars? No. I don't know of anybody that ended wars. I ended 8 of them, and it's going to be 9. I think we're going to have this one done hopefully soon. But I'll be meeting him probably over the next 2 weeks. First, Marco is going to be meeting. And the vice president, as you know, is very much involved. The whole team is involved. Steve Witkoff will be involved. Yeah, please.
What did you tell them about the Tomahawks? Did you discuss the Tomahawk missiles? Did you discuss?
Well, we talked about it a little bit. Didn't say much, but I do say to you, we need Tomahawks for the United States of America, too. We have a lot of them, but we need them. I mean, we can't deplete for our country. So, they're very vital. They're very powerful. They're very accurate. They're very good, but we need them too. So I don't know what we can do about that.
Why do you think a second meeting with Putin now will yield different results?
Well, I think Alaska actually set a stage, and that wasn't very long ago, but it set a stage. You have to understand, I came into this situation. I didn't start this war. This is a Biden deal, and I came into it, and it was a mess. It could have led to World War III. In my opinion, this could have led to World War III. That won't happen, but it could have. So I came in, this war was raging. When I left, this wasn't even a thought. For 4 years, nobody talked about it. I spoke to President Putin about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, but there was never going to be doing anything like this. And this all went because of some really bad decisions that were made. And look what you have. You have millions of people dead. You have just a horrible, horrible situation. I'm doing it to save souls. That's all I'm doing it for. I'm not doing it for us. We have an ocean between us. I'm doing it also to help Europe. They want to have it ended, but they're unable to do it. I'm able to do it. So I think we'll be successful. We'll save a lot of lives. It should have been done. Should have never started. This would have never happened if the election weren't rigged. This would have never happened. But it did happen, and I'll get it stopped. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you mentioned a $1,300 drug at the top of this. Were you referring to the weight loss drugs?
Yeah, I was referring to Ozempic or... I heard the fat loss drug.
So those are going to be $150 out of pocket for Americans.
They'll be much lower. They'll be much lower. Yeah, go ahead, please.
We have not negotiated those yet. We're going to be rolling these out over time. The GLP category of drugs, which includes Ozempic, have not been negotiated yet.
What's the timeline for that?
But it will. It'll come like everyone else.
Okay. Any timeline on those negotiations?
No, but I think those are going to come down pretty fast, and we do have, I guess, some alternative.
The president will be happy with the result, and until he is, we're not going to close those negotiations. Thank you.
Except it'll happen.
Got it.
Mr. President, what's your message to pro-life
conservatives? Some pro-life conservatives have religious objections to IVF and are already critical of this policy. What's your message to them?
I don't know about the views of that. I'm just looking to do something because, pro-life, I think this is very pro-life. You can't get more pro-life than this. Please.
Mr. President, you've been talking about how this new benefit plan will also include root cause treatments for infertility. How will you make sure that those root cause treatments are equally accessible to IVF?
Well, I think we're going to be doing that. Would anybody like to talk about that subject? Please.
On the rulemaking process. I think it's the determination, again, Secretary of Labor, the Department of Labor is issuing their intent today to open up the rulemaking process, again, for more flexibility. Anytime that you have a president who's leading when you can offer more access to health care at a lower rate is a benefit to the American people and to the end user, and that's exactly what he's doing. And so you heard before that through the Q&A guidance that was issued today with the other agencies, that will give guidance to our employers and the employees about what the flexibility of that is. And then again, opening that rulemaking process for further determination of the access that can be had, offered in those benefits for all different types of healthcare access is the goal of the Department of Labor.
Good answer.
Thank you.
I like this better. I just said they can do better than me. Yeah, please.
President, do you think
good job, Larry. You're doing a fantastic job. I shouldn't tell. I won't say it. That I will not say that she was recommended by the Teamsters. Can you believe it? And she's turned out to be a gem, an absolute gem. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, John Bolton was just indicted.
Do you think we can see your deal-making skills applied to the government shutdown anytime soon?
Well, look, all we want to do is just extend. We don't want anything. We just want to extend, live with the deal that they had. They want to spend $1.5 trillion on illegal immigrants, and they want to destroy health care for everyone else. And it's crazy. It's crazy. People that are here illegally, they want to spend $1.5 trillion. So we're just not going to do it. No, we have to take care of our health care. Now, we're doing that today, and we're doing it with, favored nations, the most favored nations. Your costs are going to be dropping greatly. And I'm really I'm really happy that it's at the beginning of my administration, because I did insulin and got it down to like $25, but it doesn't kick in. It didn't kick in for 2 years by statute, so it couldn't kick in. And I said, boy, I hope I win this election, because if I don't, somebody else is going to take credit for it, Bobby. And sure as can be, Biden said, he didn't even know what the hell was happening. And it was a hard thing for me to do. I got insulin way down. What was it before that? It was just massive. It was impossible to afford. And sure as can be, because it was statute, it couldn't have been earlier. I said, boy, this falls into the next administration. I better win. And all of a sudden, I watched this Biden taking credit for something that I did. And on other things, too. We had a lot of things kick in. So the nice part about this is at the beginning of our administration. So I think we're going to see the fruits of our labor. And I hope on our other situation that we've talked so much about, autism, I hope we're going to see some very good results based on the recommendations that we made. And, you know, we have time to watch those results now.
Was just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You told me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
The case against him?
That's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person. Okay, anybody else?
What's the timeline for the IVF drug through the National Commission on Priority Review voucher, Dr. McCary?
What do you think, Doctor?
So, first of all, the National Priority Voucher Program says we're going to proactively at the FDA look for amazing treatments like this IVF treatment. We're going to reach out to the companies, and if it's in line with the president's national priorities, we're going to put those drugs at the front of the line and get a decision out in weeks instead of a year. And so today we announced 9 drugs that are going to be recipients. These are products where the manufacturing is going to be in the United States, or it's meeting a large unmet public health need, like a diabetes drug we announced today. Or it is a product where you're going to see an affordability phenomena because the prices are getting equalized in line with the president's most favored nation status goal.
Wow, that's good. Why didn't I have him speaking? So could have saved a lot of time. Thanks, buddy. I'm not surprised. Yeah, please.
Yes, thank you, Chris. So Senate Majority Leader John Thune today said he'd like to proceed with the bill which would put sanctions on Russia. What's your thought on that?
Well, we're going to see. He doesn't know about the call yet. I'm going to speak to him later. And it was subject to what I wanted to do. And so we'll see what happens. This may be such a productive call that we're going to end up, we want to get peace. We want to stop the killing. 7,000 people a week. Can you believe it? We want to stop the killing. So I'm going to speak to him and the speaker, Mike Johnson. I'll speak to them a little bit later and I'll tell them about this and we'll make the right determination. I'm not against anything. I'm just saying it may not be perfect timing. It could happen in a week or two, but it's at my option, as you know.
Right, but did President Putin try to dissuade you from selling Tomahawk missiles?
Well, of course. What do you think he's going to say? Please sell Tomahawks? Is he going to say, please sell those Tomahawks? I really appreciate it. I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? I did say that to him. I said it just that way. He didn't like the idea. He really didn't like the idea. No, I said it that way. You have to be a little bit lighthearted sometimes, but no, he doesn't want Tomahawk. Tomahawk is a vicious weapon. It's a vicious, offensive, incredibly destructive weapon. Nobody wants Tomahawk shot at him.
We ask you not to provide Tomahawks?
So, wouldn't anybody? I mean, it's been in the news. Who wouldn't do that? CNN. Who wouldn't do that? You know? Do you think he's going to say, I'd love to have Tomahawk sent my way? I don't think so. Maria, we have one of the great stars of television here, and she's an incredible person, and she's just an amazing woman who, she got it all right. She got the Russia hoax right. She got everything. Would you have a question?
Yes, Mr. President. I would ask you why this was so important to you, IVF, and why was autism so important to you? What are you trying to achieve?
Well, autism is like a whole different thing. When you look at, it was 1 in 20,000. Now it's 1 in 12. If you look, Bobby, we have different numbers, but 1 in 12, 1 in 28, 1 in 32. There's a couple of different numbers out there, but it's 1 in a very, very different number than it used to be. It used to be 1 in 20,000. And that was not that long ago, 20 years ago or so. And now they had something for boys, for babies, baby boys. It's 1 in 12. I heard 1 in 10, Bobby. I heard another one, different lists. But when you think of that, it's not even sustainable, but there's something artificial. When that happens, that's not like a natural. And then you have certain groups of people that literally don't have autism, and they're not taking some of the things that we're taking. So we're working very hard. And on IVF, it's just that I have friends, including Katie, that called me and they told me the importance of it. I wasn't that familiar with it. Now I think I've sort of become the father ever since I heard. There was a bad decision in Alabama where a judge wanted all clinics to be immediately closed, right? And Katie called up and you said you were pretty strongly attacked by your friends that you didn't even know were involved with IVF, right?
You had people that had grandkids, people who'd gone through IVF themselves, telling their story.
Yeah.
There are people that cope out there.
Tell what you did when you heard from your friends. You said this was not, they almost became violent. Right?
Yeah, I told him, I said, Mr. President, we need you. We need your voice in this conversation. We need the directive. We need the strong support, because there are millions of people out there, moms and dads, wanting to bring life into the world. And you had people, the chilling effect that occurred across Alabama, there were people that were in the middle of that process that had been praying to have a child, and that was halted. And so the reality of that was very stark in our state. And so I was able to tell the president some of the stories of people, friends and grandparents and relatives that told me what they had experienced, and also, what they were fearful of in the future. And the president very quickly acted, spoke with a strong voice, and really led the way. Obviously, we saw Democrats continue to fearmonger for the remainder of the year, trying to use it as an election issue, when actually IVF is legal and accessible in all 50 states. And President Trump very clearly said where he was on this. And he said, I'm going to make sure that this is more accessible and that it is more affordable for families coast to coast. That's exactly what he did. But it's that real life, those real life stories, sir, that he responded to. And that's what people don't know about him. He cares. And when you tell him what American people are dealing with, he wants to do something about it. You have leaders and politicians that come before him that want to talk about things. President Trump wants to actually make things happen. It's exactly what he did here. And I'm so grateful, Mr. President.
Thank you, Katie, very much. Appreciate it. So we will go back to what we're doing. Working again with Marco and with JD and a few other people on the war, and we're doing a lot of other things also. The economy is unbelievable. It really is. It's been incredible. And I think one of the great numbers that I've ever heard, think of it, over $17 trillion being invested in our country. And when you think of, compare that to the last administration, but really compare it to any administration, compare it to any country. There's never been a country with anything like that. That's in a period of 8 months. And we've already broken every record possible. There's never anything even close. So we'll go back to all of that. Prices are down. Oil is down. We're down $58 a barrel. We're going to be hitting $2 for gasoline. I think we're going to be at $2. And the previous administration, they were at $4 and $5. They were going up much higher. And then they swung back into my things, but they didn't swing back properly. They were very, very late. They really blew it. We had it really going in the right direction. They came and took everything out. And it's incredible. I'll never forget. They lost control of the price of gasoline, of oil. They totally lost control, Howard. And then they went back immediately. Well, let's go back to Trump. But by that time, it was too late. And they didn't go back, because the leases and everything else, they didn't do what they had to do. They wouldn't know. They really didn't know how to. But we could be hitting close to $2 a gallon. I'd love to break it if we could, but we could be. And when that comes down, everything else has been coming down. Groceries are down. The price of things are down. And honestly, the simplicity is, if you can get oil down, it's such a big category. Everything follows. So just about everything follows. And we are working on beef. And I think we have a deal on beef that's going to bring the price of beef. That would be the one product that we would say is a little bit higher than we want it, maybe higher than we want it. And that's going to be coming down pretty soon, too. We did something. We worked our magic. But groceries are down and energy is down. Electricity is way down. We have the prices coming down for people. They were abused for 4 years by the Biden administration. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to the IRS. Thank you, press. Let's go. Right on, guys.
All righty. Well, there you go. There you have it. All right. So there you have it. The market really didn't do too much during all of that. There wasn't much. A little bit of a comment there about the economy. We're pretty much stuck right here at like this 107, 108, man. It's like this is really a turning point. You know, what's going to happen here with Bitcoin? No matter what, I'm long-term bullish on BTC. When it comes to altcoins, you never know, right? You never know what's going to happen. That's why you can't be over-leveraged. You can't position yourself where you can't win if your altcoins lose. You got to have a cash position, stablecoin position. You got to have a Bitcoin and Ethereum position. And then that's it. You got to be prepared for any scenario. Real quick before we get up on out of here, do want to talk about tomorrow. We've got our live call in the Patreon, 9 a.m. Eastern. For those of you guys who got in the first week, you're in there. Anybody else, get the VIP tier. We're going to see you tomorrow morning on the call. We're breaking it down. I'm going to give you guys everything that I'm doing right now, the moves I'm making. Come on over and join us. Private community, link down below, Patreon in the description. See my entire portfolio, my buys and sells, private Discord community. Watch me build a new portfolio, which has already started. We've got some assets we added there today. And no matter what, we're going to win. We're going to win because we've got the long-term vision. We've got a plan for every scenario. And that's the key. That's the key. You've got a plan for the long term. Trade your altcoins in the intermediate. We're not going to go all in on anything. We're not going to be duped. We're not going to live in fear. We're just going to be prepared and ready to make moves depending on the situation that is upon us. That's it. Simple as that. So we'll continue to monitor, track all the markets. I'm going to have a bunch more videos coming out. Make sure you guys are subscribed. If you're not yet, hit that subscribe button. Put notifications on. Bunch more content coming your way. I appreciate you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope to see you on the inside, too, with the Patreon as well. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you.